mistake was made. The weight would break the backs of 10 strong horses. Tried to save the castle in the fray.
The background of this porch depicted a king and his forces. Laid a castle in the distant, unmanned and rattled with corpses. The queen followed by her pursuers in a coach with 10 horses. They galloped at full speed and headed for the gorges. Watch the painting come alive, the coach enters at full stride. The queen clinches the prince and she tells him not to cry, that all will be alright with 2 knights at their side. She felt it was a lie, but she was still gonna try. Arrows pierced to the broken windows as they cornered the gorge. The knights halted after their turn and unscathed their swords to buy the queen some time, because they knew she needed more. A worthy sacrifice as they approached death's door. The impact echoed, heard the screams of falling soldiers. Horses wailed in fear as they went over the shoulder. The cliffs rumbled as the night became colder. The moon lit the path and falling rocks became boulders.
Mistake was made. The weight would break the backs of 10 strong horses. Tried to save the castle in the fray.
The king advanced on his enemy, battle won with ease, as they scattered in retreat and headed for the trees. The army gathered, celebrating with screams. An easy victory, but things are not always as they seem. The coachman focused on the windy path ahead. The carriage shook with force as the horses pulled the bed. The ground rattled from vibrations with a force to shake the dead. In a warp of time perception on a path that never ends. Hooves tore through rock-laden dirt, digging, pushing, pulling, and shifting the earth. The armada gained its position and gave the chase rebirth. Closed the gap with every turn and put the coachman on alert. Another set of turns and a straight path to safety. An arrow penetrates his shoulder, fights through the aching. Another hits the rear horse, but they keep on racing. The axle breaks, they hit the gravel, and there's no more chasing.
Terrible mistake was made. The weight would break the backs of 10 strong horses. Tried to save the castle in the fray.
The king and his forces returned to their home, approached a scene of horror that changed the army's tone. He rushes to his chambers, his queen and son are gone. He sits upon his throne and realizes he's alone. The queen grabs the prince and they jump from the carriage. The harnesses snag, too much for them to manage. They tumble from the cliffside, the coachman screams with panic. The queen and prince come to a halt, close enough to see them vanish. She rises to her feet and begins to be surrounded. Search her child's eyes for the courage and she found it. Grabs her sword and looks away, the enemy dismounted. The knights cut their forces, still the cliffside was crowded. She takes a breath as they come within step, screams a cry of hatred and digs into one's chest. Hits another in the leg and then one in the neck. The prince can only cry as he watched his mother's death.
Terrible mistake was made. The weight would break the backs of 10 strong horses. Tried to save the castle in the fray.
Absit, God save me.